1987 filed documenting the reality of the international mass surveillance industry. An industry which now sells equipment to dictators and democracies alike in order to intercept entire populations. That statement sounds like it's something from Hollywood. That statement sounds like it could only be science fiction. But the reality is that this industry has grown up over the last 10 years from being a covert, very secretive, small industry comprising of institutions like CSC, SAIC, Northrop Grumman, who supplied the National Security Agency and organisations like GCHQ, to a transnational industry with its own industry conferences, over 160 companies involved in over 25 countries. Diana Priest, in her recent book documenting the top secret America, the surveillance system in America and the national security system in America, spoke about how an uncontrolled cancerous growth had spread through her country. Well, it's not just the United States. In fact, it is not just the top secret America. There is an international, corporatized, mass surveillance industry. You might ask, why is Wikileaks interested in this other than the obvious? Well, we ourselves have been the subject of intensive intelligence agency scrutiny over the years, especially since last July. We also have an obligation to our sources and to those who we work with to understand the privacy risks that may affect them, who may expose them. We also work with activists in difficult parts of the world, like Syria and Egypt, Tunisia, Libya. We have to understand what are the risks to those activists. So embarking on the development of our new whistleblowing source protection platform, we undertook a research effort to see what really is the state of the art in international surveillance systems. We pulled in these groups here to help us with that effort. And the findings are really quite remarkable. I have been working in studying this industry 10 years ago, and I have kept my eye on it since. But this in-depth investigation that we have performed shows it is not this relatively small, although still measured in the billions of dollars, industry it was 10 years ago. 9/11 has provided a license for European countries, for the United States, Australia, Canada, South Africa, and others to develop spying systems that affect all of us. So who here has an iPhone? Who here has a BlackBerry? Who here uses Gmail? Well, you're all screwed. The reality is, intelligence contractors are selling right now to countries across the world mass surveillance systems for all those products. And so with that, I will hand over to our next speaker, rather than stealing their thunder. And Prata, who has done great work at the Bureau of Investigative Journalism on
used so that one may choose to reject lawful intercept while the rest of the world goes mad, if you will. It's a system that allows you to, without any logins or passwords, and without paying at all, freely browse the internet, use different chat services in such a way that if your home internet connection were monitored, for example with lawful intercept, or even in some cases where someone has broken into computer systems in your ISP, It allows you to anonymously use the internet in a way that those systems cannot easily monitor you anymore. So that when you visit websites or use services online, you have geographic anonymity. That is to say that they don't know where you are in the world, and the people watching you don't know who you're talking to, what you're saying, or where it is that you're going. And this is free for everyone to use. It's free software because freedom requires free software.
What we're looking at is investigating foreign intelligence services and what they're doing. And so this is an area that's filled with misinformation, and many people have come forward with false information and sent us down the wrong path. Specifically looking at companies as they're selling this equipment, what we've seen is that rather than selling equipment that is dual use, that could be used for a legitimate commercial purpose, what we have seen is that these companies are building bespoke tools that are being used and tailored for specific regimes. So in many cases, this is building added modules that target specific ethnic groups in regions. Furthermore, rather than selling it from an office in London and never actually traveling to the country, we are seeing European companies actually sending its own engineers to countries like Syria, where they are standing there and assisting Assad in tailoring systems so that they can continuously monitor any changes in technology that are taking place. When I've spoken to some of the companies who are selling this equipment, I would have expected them to be aware of what they're doing, but they just don't care. They are only concerned about profit.
We have to provide counter-surveillance technology that is open and easy for everyone to use. That is the only way that we are going to stop a global totalitarian surveillance state. I mean, it sounds absurd for me to use those words, but that is the practical reality for people, that we are in a totalitarian surveillance state, i.e. that there is total